I told them the mountain would wake, but no one listened. They built glass villas and swimming pools on her throat, and when the fire finally came, it swallowed their empire whole. I watched the HOA president, the almighty Karen, stand frozen on her stage as lava rolled in mascara, running microphone, dangling her dream, melting faster than steel beams in the heat. I never asked for this fight. I spent 3 decades as a government geologist chasing eruptions across the Pacific, and when I retired, I wanted quiet. My father left me a cabin at the base of Mount Abuelo, a dormant volcano scarred but still alive. The land was green, calm, deceptive in its silence, and I treated it with respect. My property wasn't even under HOA control, grandfathered in long before Calipana Vista Estates existed. I was the flannel shirt old guy who patched fences, waved at joggers, and minded his own business, until Karen showed up. She didn't just join the HOA, she hijacked it. Designer sunglasses, clipboard always in hand, smile sharp enough to cut glass. Within months, she had replaced the board president, stacked committees with loyalists, and pushed through zoning changes most residents didn't understand. Then came the signs hammered right outside my fence, future site of Molina Ridge luxury villas. Luxury villas on a volcanic slope. I knew that land better than my own scarred hands. The rock was fractured, unstable, riddled with old lava tubes. You'd have to be insane or criminally negligent to build there. I walked straight into her polished HOA office folder, stuffed with USGS maps, overlays, soil cores, records of flows stretching back 50 years. I laid them on her desk. This isn't an opinion. This ridge is a lava chute. It will flow again. Maybe not this year, maybe not 10, but when it does, it won't stop for your property lines. She barely glanced at the papers. The county approved the development, she said, tilting her head like I was a child interrupting dinner. If you have an issue, take it up with the permitting office. I told her I already had, that the firm she used for the risk assessment was owned by her brother. Her face hardened, but then she smiled worse than anger. Your concerns are unsolicited, Mr. Kai. Interfere again and I'll file for harassment. From that day, the trucks came bulldozers chewing through trees, backhoes tearing into trenches carved by nature to redirect lava. I stood on my porch, fists clenched, powerless. I filed complaints, I called old colleagues, I sent letters. No one cared. Unless the mountain was actively glowing red, officials said their hands were tied. Karen, meanwhile, painted me as the crazy volcano guy. The HOA newsletter called me a fearmonger. Someone spray-painted "Move Out Boomer" on my fence. I wasn't chasing popularity. I was trying to stop people from building their homes on a loaded gun. The worst part was how fast Karen turned neighbors against me. She threw mixers with catered food, handed out tote bags stamped with her project logo, even flew a drone for glossy promo videos. People lapped it up. They didn't see a power-hungry dictator, they saw a savior promising rising property values. When construction crews trespassed onto my land and cut down trees my father planted as natural lava breaks, I snapped. You're trespassing, I shouted. They shrugged. HOA code violation. My land, my trees, and she claimed jurisdiction. Later, her operations guy called to taunt me. We'll see who the county believes when the HOA files for boundary realignment. Boundary realignment, erasing my land like it was a typo. That night, I sat in my cabin staring at stacks of violation notices and legal threats. Cease and desist letters piled high accusing me of harassment, obstruction, even trespassing on my own land. The isolation was unbearable. Neighbors avoided me. The community shuttle stopped coming by my street. My mailbox was removed. I sat there thinking maybe I should just leave. Maybe Karen was right. Maybe I was just some washed-up geologist clinging to ghosts in the rock. Then came the knock. Anna, a young neighbor, trembling as she handed me a folder. Inside, the original county geological assessments stamped high-risk lava exposure. Overridden, replaced by Karen's brother's fraudulent report. Anna whispered, "Please don't say it was me." And just like that, the doubt broke. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't wrong. They were lying, and I had proof. I mailed copies to newspapers, county officials, even the state geological office. Silence. But not everyone ignored me. Kiana, one of my former students, now head of the Pacific Volcanic Observatory, reached out. "I believe you, Uncle Kai," she said. She came with sensors, thermal imaging satellite data. Her findings matched mine. Magma was shifting under Phase 1. Not if it was when. Finally, someone saw the fire beneath the ground. Karen doubled down. She filed a lawsuit accusing me of defamation, disruption, even sabotage. I couldn't afford a lawyer. I was boxed in financially, legally, socially. But then the earth itself weighed in. Microquakes beneath the slope, rising ground temps, steam hissing from vents her crews paved over. I knew the signs. The mountain wasn't silent. It was clearing her throat. The HOA ignored it. Worse, Karen turned it into pageantry. She scheduled a grand opening gala for Phase 1. Banners flapped, champagne-chilled influencers, and local news anchors invited. Luxury elevated, the future begins at Kalapana Vista. The timing was perfect for her, and catastrophic for everyone else. I stood at the ridge that morning, binoculars in hand, heart heavy. Guests gathered under white tents, music thumping, Karen on stage with her flawless hair and practiced smile. At 3:17 p.m., the tremor hit. Champagne bottles rattled. People laughed nervously. Karen cracked a joke into the mic. Then came the second quake. Stronger. Lights swung. Glass shattered. And behind the villas, the ground split open. A thin red glow spread like a wound, tearing itself wider. Gas hissed, smoke poured, and then the screaming began. The earth ripped apart exactly where I said it would. Lava burst through molten and merciless, devouring manicured lawns in seconds. Villa 1A collapsed into fireglass walls, exploding like fireworks. Guests ran in chaos, parents clutching children, elderly couples, stumbling servers dropping trays as ash rained down. And Karen, she just stood there on her stage, paralyzed mascara streaking. I sprinted down the slope, shouting, waving people toward the road. "This way, follow me." I grabbed Karen by the arm. "Get off the stage now." She turned dazed. I didn't know." My voice was raw. "Yes, you did. You just didn't listen." I dragged her through smoke and cinders as the stage collapsed behind us, swallowed whole. By the time fire trucks arrived, 6 villas were gone, 3 more cracked, and only 1 stood trembling at the edge. Her empire reduced to ash in a single afternoon. Karen sat on the tailgate of a fire truck, wrapped in a foil blanket, staring at the ruin. Her phone melted, her reputation buried deeper than the lava itself. Lawsuits erupted faster than the Volcano buyers, demanding refunds, contractors demanding compensation, the state attorney general investigating fraud. My data, my warnings became evidence. The HOA turned from Karen's fan club to her executioners. Her lawsuit against me was withdrawn. She lost everything. And me, I didn't feel triumph. I felt sorrow. For the land, for the mountain we had betrayed, for the trees chopped down that might have slowed the flow. I stood on the cooled crust days later, ash clinging to my boots, and she came. No entourage, no makeup. Just Karen, small, pale, broken. She stared at the black field of rock. "You warned me," she whispered. "I thought I was building something beautiful." I told her, "You betrayed the ground first." She asked, "What do I do now?" I pointed at the ridge. "Leave the mountain alone. That would be a good start." She walked away, shoulders hunched, and I stayed listening to the silence. The villas were gone, the lawsuits were just beginning, but the mountain had already passed judgment. And if there's one thing this story should teach anyone, it's simple. When the earth says no, you don't get to argue.